Hello and welcome to Shredder Zoo for the last educational special to take place here. But don't worry, the series isn't over, and as from next week we'll be moving to the aquarium to look at the aquatic creatures we have there. But this week we should be taking a look at the Dimetrodon. The Dimetrodon is a well-known and popular animal, instantly recognisable by its distinctive sail on its back, but it is often mistaken for a dinosaur, or thought that it lived alongside dinosaurs. In fact, it lived and became extinct some 40 million years before the first dinosaurs had evolved. There are around 15 known species of Dimetrodon that all lived at varying times throughout the early Permian period, from about 295 to 272 million years ago. Almost all of them have been found in North America, with most of those coming from Texas. Only one species has been found outside North America, and this was found in Germany, but during the Permian period, North America and Europe were connected. Over the course of the early Permian, the Dimetrodon changed quite a lot, with earlier species being quite small, with the smallest being around 60 centimeters long, and later species becoming some of the largest predators of their time, with the largest species, and probably the one that is most closely represented here in Ark, measuring around 4.6 meters, that's about 15 feet in length. Not only did they grow larger over the millions of years they existed, but their teeth changed too. It's been said that the Dimetrodon was in an evolutionary arms race with its prey. As its prey grew larger and tougher, so too did the Dimetrodon. The name Dimetrodon means two measures of tooth, and refers to the two types of teeth found in its jaws. There are large caniform teeth at the front, and smaller slicing teeth at the back. As the Dimetrodon species evolved to become larger, their teeth also evolved to become sharper and serrated, better able to slice through the flesh of its prey. The early Permian period was dominated by many species of amphibians, which would have been prey to Dimetrodon. One particular species will be familiar to the viewers of this series, the Diplocalus. There is fossil evidence of a Dimetrodon digging up and eating a group of Diplocalus that were dormant in a burrow during a drought. Early reconstructions of Dimetrodon showed it to have a short, stubby tail. This is because in the late 1800s, when it was first described, the tail vertebrae were missing or incomplete. Only the first few caudal vertebrae were known, these are the ones closest to the hip, and since these vertebrae narrowed rapidly, it was assumed that the tail was short. It wasn't until 1927 that a more complete tail was discovered, and we now know it was in fact quite long, containing around 50 vertebrae. The posture of Dimetrodon is shown as being a typical lizard-like sprawling-legged stance, although interestingly the Dimetrodon is actually more closely related to mammals than lizards. But recent studies have concluded that the belly-dragging, splayed-leg posture may not be correct. Scientists have taken a closer look at the construction of the skeleton around the shoulder and the hip and compared it to several modern mammals and reptiles. When the scientists used software to run their data, they found that the Dimetrodon seemed to most closely match the caiman, a crocodilian that can hold its legs vertically enough to raise its body off the ground, particularly when it runs. Dimetrodon might have held its body in a similar way. Fossilised trackways seem to tell the same story. The footprints of Dimetrodon appeared much closer together than would be expected from a sprawling gait. Also, there is a lack of belly-dragging marks that would be expected for this kind of posture. While alternative theories have been put forward, for example that Dimetrodon thrashed its spine from side to side so much as it walked that it could leave narrow sets of footprints despite having sprawled legs, but it seems more likely that it held its legs more under its body, at least while walking or running. So now we come to the most distinctive feature of the Dimetrodon, its sail. Paleontologists have proposed many ways in which the sail could have functioned in life. Some of the first to think about its purpose suggested that the sail may have served as camouflage among reeds while Dimetrodon waited for prey, or as an actual boat-like sail to catch the wind while the animal was in the water. Another is that the long neural spines could have stabilised the trunk by restricting up and down movement, which would allow for a more efficient side-to-side movement while walking. But most seriously regarded theories revolve around two main thoughts: thermal regulation and sexual selection. It's thought that the Dimetrodon was cold-blooded like modern lizards and insects and relied on the sun to warm up. But being so large, this would have taken a long time, and smaller prey would heat up quicker and so become more agile than Dimetrodon. Having a sail could mean it was able to warm up quicker by pumping blood into a large surface area to receive more heat from the sun, and allow the Dimetrodon to keep up with its smaller bodied prey. And also it would allow the animal to release excess body heat to prevent overheating. Over the years, scientists and engineers have built models, both real and computer generated, to test the effectiveness of the sail as a temperature regulating device, with varying results. Most recent tests have concluded that the sail was not that great at maintaining a higher body temperature or in releasing excess heat. The presence of sails in much smaller species of Dimetrodon that wouldn't necessarily need a sail to regulate heat indicate that the large sail of the larger species of Dimetrodon is thought to have developed gradually from these smaller crests, meaning that over most of the sail's evolutionary history, thermoregulation could not have served an important function. Many modern lizards have skin flaps, frills, or dorsal ridges that are raised during threat or courtship displays. There is evidence that Dimetrodon was sexually dimorphic, with the males having the larger sails. This has led to the conclusion that the sail was used primarily for display, with the males with the larger sails attracting the most females. Well, that's all I have for you this week, and that's all I have for you from Shredder Zoo. I've covered all the animals I have on display here, but don't worry, the series will continue over at the aquarium, and next week we should be taking a look at the manta. As always, I hope you've enjoyed the video and you've learned something new, and I hope to see you next time at the aquarium. Goodbye.